I want to share with you some of the most chilling and unforgettable experiences of my life. Right now, I live in Lalkan Bazaar, Chittagong. But things weren't always the way they are now.
When we first moved here, the place was a complete mess. Filthy, overrun with garbage, and covered in waist-high wild grass. You could say it was more of a dumping ground than a neighborhood. There were no houses around, and the surrounding buildings would throw their trash directly into our lot. But after we moved in, we cleaned everything up and turned the place into our home.
There's something important to mention here. The locals used to say that back during the Liberation War of 1971, this very place had been used as a mass grave by the Pakistani soldiers. Bodies were allegedly buried here. Whether it was true or not, I can't say. But when we began construction, we didn't find anything. Still, that story lingered in the background, like a faint echo. I was in class 5 back then. One evening, the electricity went out just after sunset. My mother and I were sitting together, lit only by a candle's dim, flickering glow. The Maghrib call to prayer had just begun echoing through the neighborhood when I noticed something strange. Through the courtyard, a bright white shadow drifted silently across our property, from the southeast corner to the northwest wall. I was sitting near the doorway, so I saw it clearly. It was just 5 or 6 feet away from me. And here's the thing. Our entire property was walled off. There was no way anyone could have entered from outside. The figure looked exactly like a corpse wrapped in a burial shroud. But the strangest part? It was gliding, floating, though its feet touched the ground. Or rather, they seemed to hover just above it. It moved slowly, eerily, as if it were suspended in air, yet still somehow grounded. The contrast between the pitch-dark courtyard and the brilliant whiteness of that figure made it all the more terrifying. It remained in my sight for at least 3 or 4 seconds. I screamed, "Amma, did you see that?" But by the time she looked, it had vanished. She hadn't seen the figure, but she could tell from my voice that something was terribly wrong. Later, she told me she had felt something too, but she didn't want to scare me then, so she just said, "You probably imagined it." To this day, I don't know whether what I saw was good or evil. I was too young to understand. But it didn't stop there. My older brothers began experiencing strange things too. Late at night, something would tug at their heads, disturbing their sleep. Whenever we had guests staying over, they always reported being disturbed by something, as if there was a rule: no guest leaves unscathed. One afternoon, my younger aunt came to visit. She went to take a nap, only to be jolted awake by the bed violently shaking. Another aunt told us that while she was sleeping at night, someone or something poured sand directly over her face. One of my brothers-in-law came to stay, and in the middle of the night, he woke up to find someone trying to push a table fan onto his chest. Another time, my cousin was slapped so hard across the face that she woke up trembling, her whole body shaking with fear and cold. She described the attacker as a tall, dark shadow, covered in black fur, standing at the edge of her bed. It had tried to choke her, to lift her by the neck. These weren't just dreams. These were real encounters, and there were so many strange, unnerving incidents happening constantly in that house. But the worst thing, the one that still sends chills down my spine, happened to me. It was sometime around the year 2000 or 2001. I must have been in class 9 or 10 at the time. This is a memory etched deep into my mind. It was around 3 a.m. I was asleep when I suddenly began to hear a strange sound right next to my ear. A soft, rapid breathing, like someone inhaling and exhaling in a hurry. I woke up instantly, though I didn't open my eyes right away. After a few seconds, I gathered the courage to look. What I saw above me, just 6 or 7 inches from my face, was beyond anything I could have imagined. There was a huge head, floating in the air. Only a head, no body. It looked like an enormous monkey's head, but grotesquely larger, like 4 human heads combined into one. Its eyes were glowing red, like embers, and it had 2 enormous fangs protruding down from its upper jaw. The thing opened its mouth so wide that I genuinely felt my entire head could fit inside it. Still, in that moment, I wasn't scared. I thought maybe my middle brother had fallen on top of me, that perhaps he was the one breathing heavily. But I couldn't move. I had no strength. My body felt paralyzed. I stared at the creature for 3 or 4 seconds, motionless, breathless. Then slowly, the head began to fade. It didn't disappear all at once. It vanished, bit by bit, like smoke curling into darkness. And as soon as it was gone, I felt something gripping my left arm tightly. Though I couldn't see it anymore, I could feel the pressure, the pain, the violation. Then, as if a spell had broken, I regained control of my body. I turned to look at my brother. He was facing the other way, sound asleep. That's when the terror finally hit me. My entire body broke out in cold sweat. I lay frozen, whispering every prayer I knew. I didn't move until the first call to prayer, Fajr. Only then did I finally drift back to sleep. When I woke up, I told everyone what had happened. And even though no one else had seen it, I could tell. That thing had wanted to scare me. But maybe, just maybe, when I stared back at it without fear, it had gotten scared too. I don't know. But after that night, it never came back. That's the end. Subscribe for next story.